Hey everybody, it is Laura's Sketches Reimagined Day. Here is the sketch we're going to be working with today. I'm going to be playing with lots of fun stuff from my How to Kill a Kit with Style Mega Fall Kit. We're going to do some stamping. We're going to play with some sequins. I have some of this cute epoxy flare we're going to add to my layout. But first, we're going to start with that Honeybee Stamps pumpkin stamp. I was super excited to get to playing with this stamp set, so I want to go ahead and start stamping some pumpkins. I have both the stamps and dies to go with this. If you decide this is a product that you need, I would definitely get the stamps and the dies. This is one of those sets where you almost have to have the dies to get the pumpkin that you like. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp 3 pumpkins. You can see I have one down here at the bottom. So the way that this stamp works is that there are multiple pumpkin pieces that fit together with different patterns. You can make your pumpkin as colorful as you want. You can make your pumpkin from any kind of pattern you would like. You can make 2 different sized pumpkins. So I am going to go ahead and make a big one and a small one. In total, I made 2 small ones and a big one. I think I said that wrong. Before. So the colors I am using are Shea Butter, Sauna, Icing on the Cake, and Sandcastle inks. Those are all from Catherine Pooler. Shea Butter is, well, both Shea Butter and Sauna are like an orangey yellow. They're not yellow, but they're not full orange. And then one is like more on the darker yellowy orange side, and then one's more on the lighter yellowy orange side. And then the icing on the cake and the sandcastle are 2 shades of brown. I am stamping the full pumpkins, and then I'm also stamping a stem in icing on a cake, and then I am stamping another separate middle piece for my pumpkins because we're going to layer them up on top. We're going to add some fun details to our pumpkins. So you can kind of see how they fit together here. You can see I kind of messed up the first one. I placed them kind of too far apart. You can eyeballing these is fairly simple. You do kind of have to get up underneath them. That's why my head's in the way a little bit there, sorry. But overall, they were pretty easy to go ahead and stamp. And then die cutting them, having the dies made cutting these out just a breeze. Once I had my pumpkins all and the middles and the stems all stamped, I'm going to grab some eucalyptus ink. This is also from Catherine Pooler. And I'm just going to stamp a couple of these vines. So each of these vines have their own dies, which is awesome because I can then go ahead and die cut all of these little pumpkin pieces, and then we can go ahead and start to kind of paper piece them together. Once I had all of the pumpkins stamped and die cut, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up the stamps, or the pumpkins, not the stamps. I'm going to ink up the pumpkin pieces with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I took my time because I didn't want this to look messy. I wanted it to look like there was just a nice edge around my pumpkin. But then I also wanted to go ahead and ink up the middle section. Remember, I stamped an extra middle section for each of the pumpkins. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the stem. So I'm going to put the stem down. Then I'm going to take some foam dots. I am just using up some foam dots that I have in my stash. You could also use tabby dots from Suka Mom Scraps. You could also use foam tape, whatever kind of dimensional adhesive you like. I'm going to kind of line, again, using my head to kind of really get down in there, line them up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take the little vines, pop them up behind my pumpkin, and add those little green vines. And they really are awesome because they kind of can play and interact with the rest of the pumpkin, and it turned out so cute. Once I had all three of these pumpkins kind of pieced together, I can add detail. So my favorite way to add detail is to add sequins, and I have these Maze Days sequins as part of my fall mega kit for October. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crystal katana and these sequins, and I'm just going to add some clusters of sequins onto my pumpkins to add some sparkle and shine and a little bit of an accent. You could, of course, use any type of little sparkly thing you like, whatever is your current favorite, to add to your pumpkins. I use sequins because I use sequins. That's what I do with them. But you could certainly use something like Nouveau Drops. You could use something like little gems or whatever. But I just adds a little something more to the pumpkins. So now our pumpkins have dimension, and they are also not all paper. Now I want to go ahead and start recreating all of the layers that are behind the photo in the sketch. And while I do that, I wanted to let you guys know that this week's Laura's Sketches Reimagined video and next week's Laura's Sketches Reimagined video will be the last two videos in this series. Starting in November, we're going to choose another sketch artist, and we are going to go ahead and use those sketches for probably, I think I have 37 of those sketches, so not quite a year of the next sketch designer's sketches, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's going to be a surprise, and those sketches will start November 3rd. Christy from Crystal's Beautiful Life is playing along with me again today. She has an adorable pumpkin layout to share with you also. And she also used, so some of the papers I'm using here to kind of map my photos with are from Jen Hadfield's Peaceful Heart collection. And that's the collection she's using too. That was totally unplanned, but totally awesome. So you can head over to her channel. I've seen her layout and it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. So I am just matting. So the photo, the sketch, not the photo. The sketch this week has tons of mats of paper behind it. So for the most part, okay, can I just say this My Mind's Eye paper is so stinking thick. My trimmer did not want to trim through it. I had to like sit there and like saw at it. Crazy. I forgot how insanely thick that paper from My Mind's Eye was. So this is going to be my banner piece. I'm just going to fishtail this edge. I followed the layers from the sketch very closely. Not exactly, but very closely. And again, if you want to see this sketch or get it for your, grab it, you can grab it from my Pinterest board, which is, I have a Pinterest board. My handle on Pinterest is Shy Scrapper, all one word, all lowercase. And then I have a board there that says sketches I've used. And in there you can find all the sketches that I have used on my videos or for anything. So that's pretty cool. If it is on Pinterest and I've used it, it is on that board. I am roughing up the edges of all of these layers with my handy dandy distress tool. And I am also inking the edges with the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. So the sketch shows one doily. I have a ton of doilies in my stash though. So I was thinking that I would use 2 and kind of get some out of my stash. I'm going to go ahead and pop a little upside down banner piece up there. It's actually, that's how it is on the sketch. So that's how I put it in my layers. And it is really cute. I've never put a banner like upside down like that before, but hey, we're good to go. So once I have all those layers done, I'm just going to flip this up and over. And this is where I am definitely going to deviate from the sketch just a touch because I want to make, so the sketch kind of just has one little cluster in the bottom right of the photo and then the title in the upper left. I'm definitely going to do the title in the upper left, but instead of just having one little cluster in the bottom right, I'm going to make these pumpkins kind of go all the way across the layout. I'm using those foam squares because, again, I have lots and lots of layers underneath my photo, and I want to make sure that I can, that this pumpkin is at the same height as the photos. Check out these pumpkins. They are so awesome. I cannot wait to play with them again. So fun. And they're like a perfect, beautiful size for scrapbook layouts. They're so pretty. Once I have my pumpkins in place, I'm going to go ahead and grab these cute epoxy flares from Scrap and Happy Studio, and I'm just going to kind of dot them in between the pumpkins. They say some really cute things that go with my photo, and you can just attach those awesome epoxy flares with your tape runner. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the stitching stamps from Ellie Studio. I am going to use this little cross stitch stamp. So it has like little X's on it, and we're going to go ahead and use that to create the stitching that is on the top. So the sketch shows some stitching lines across the top and then the title kind of layered on top of that. And I'm going to stick to that part of the sketch, and I'm just going to put my stitching lines and stamp them onto the top of this page. I am stamping using icing on the cake ink. I grabbed my tile letters that I already have stamped and die cut, and I went through the tile letters and found all of the letters I need for my words. My title is going to be 2 Little Pumpkins because this photo is of my sister and my 2 nephews, and they're so cute, and they're little pumpkins for sure. And they're also kind of posed, or the photo was taken of her with like this pumpkin background when they went to the pumpkin patch. So I was like ready to go. So these are 2021 fall photos. I actually have all my fall photos done and I'm current with them, probably because they are my absolute favorites. I have a fall album flip through coming to my channel very soon. I think it's scheduled for next Tuesday, I hope. And so that one is on its way to you because I have finished that album completely. And yes, I inked every one of these little tile letters and glued them down. Definitely. And that is pretty much it. I'm just going to glue down these little tile letters. This got a little tedious, so I didn't keep all this in. But I went ahead and put 2 little pumpkins is the title, and then I'm going to put the year the photo was taken down on the bottom. And here are all the close-ups of my layout. I think this layout turned out so sweet. Really love it. And I am super excited to finish up my Laura Sketches Reimagined series and to start a new one. Talk to you later. Bye.